Mason, who was a rabbi before turning to comedy, was known for his sharp wit and piercing social commentary. Jackie Mason, a rabbi-turned-comedian whose feisty brand of stand-up comedy led him to Catskills nightclubs, West Coast talk shows and Broadway stages, has died. He was 93. Mason died on Saturday at 6 p.m. local time in Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan after being in hospital for more than 12 weeks, the celebrity lawyer Raoul Felder said. The irascible Mason was known for his sharp wit and piercing social commentary, often about men and women, being Jewish, and his inadequacies. His typical style was amused outrage. 80% of married men cheat in America. The rest cheat in Europe, he once joked. Another Mason line was, politics doesn't make strange bedfellows, marriage does. About himself, he once said, I was so self-conscious, every time football players went into a huddle, I thought they were talking about me. Advertisement. His death was mourned far and wide, from fellow comedian Gilbert Gottfried, who called him one of the best, of Fox News personality Sean Hannity, who hailed Mason as irreverent, iconoclastic, funny, smart and a great American patriot. Henry Winkler tweeted, now you gentlemen make heaven laugh. Mason was born Jacob Mazza, the son of a rabbi. His 3 brothers became rabbis. So did Mason, who at one time had congregations in Pennsylvania and North Carolina. Comedy eventually proved to be a more persistent calling than God. A person has to feel emotionally barren or empty or frustrated in order to become a comedian, he said in 1987. I don't think people who feel comfortable or happy are motivated to become comedians. You're searching for something, and you're willing to pay a high price to get that attention. Mason started in show business as a social director at a resort in the Catskills. He was the guy who got everybody up to play Simon Says quiz games or shuffleboard. He told jokes too. After one season, he was playing clubs throughout the Catskills for better money. Nobody else knew me, but in the mountains, I was a hit, Mason recalled. In 1961, he got a big break, an appearance on Steve Allen's weekly television variety show. His success brought him to The Ed Sullivan Show and other programs. He was banned for 2 years from The Sullivan Show when allegedly gave the host the finger when Sullivan signaled to him to wrap up his act during an appearance on 18 October 1964. Mason's act carried him to Broadway, where he put on severe lone man shows, including Freshly Squeezed in 2005, Love Thy Neighbor I in 1996, and The World According to Me in 1988, for which received a special Tony Award. I feel like Ronald Reagan tonight, Mason joked on Tony Night. He was an actor all his life, knew nothing about politics and became president of the United States. I'm an ex-rabbi knew nothing about acting, and I'm getting a Tony Award. Mason called himself an observer who watched people and learned. From his observations, he said he got his jokes and then treated them out on friends. I'd rather make a fool of myself in front of 2 people for nothing than 1,000 people paid for a ticket, he said. His humor could leap from computers and designer coffee to Ariel Sharon and Donald Trump. I very rarely write anything down. I just think about Liffey a lot and try to put it into phrases that will get a joke, he said. I never do a joke that has a point that I don't believe in. To me, the message and the joke is the same. On TV, Mason was a reliable presence, usually with a cameo in such shows as 30 Rock or The Simpsons, or as a reliable guest on late-night chat shows. He performed in front of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II, and his show Fearless played London's West End in 2012. He played a Jewish former pajama salesman in love with an Irish Catholic widow portrayed by Lynn Redgrave in a series called Chicken Soup in 1989, but it did not last. During the O.J. Simpson murder trial, the BBC's Scottish service hired Mason as the weekly commentator. He was in the film Kaddish Act 2 with Notorious Flip. Mason's humor sometimes caused offense, such as when he campaigned for the Republican New York mayoral candidate Rudolph Giuliani against the Democrat David Dinkins, who was black. Mason had to apologize after saying, among other things, that Jews would vote for Dinkins out of guilt. Felder, his longtime friend, said Mason had a Talmudic outlook on life, that whatever you would say to him, he would start an argument with you. He is survived by his wife, the producer Jill Rosenfeld, and a daughter, Sheba.